Hey guys, JamesMCD Reviews here, and before I start, I want to apologize. I want to apologize because I have been really slacking when it comes to producing content for this YouTube channel. I mean, I've been slacking in terms of YouTube in general, but with my animation channel, it's kind of, I can't really control that because it takes a long time to put together a really decent animation. So that's not too big of a deal, but with my review channel, I have no excuse. I see a new movie every week. It's really easy to put on a camera, talk about a movie for a few minutes, edit the video, and upload it. But whether it's because of like me being behind on my schoolwork or just my own genuine laziness, I don't always get around to posting a new review. And there have been a lot of movies that have come out in the past couple of months that I've really wanted to talk about. And since Avengers Infinity War is next week, and I'm going to be gushing about that for a long time, I didn't want to have to make like 5 separate reviews for all of the movies that I've missed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this a Ketchup review. Basically is a short form mini reviews of all of the movies that I have missed for full reviews or have just really wanted to talk about but haven't done a full review of. And the reason that I'm doing this way is because, one, like I said, Avengers is next week. I don't have time to make a bunch of different reviews. And two, most of these movies have already come out and everything that can be said about them has been said already by other people. And I feel like just doing a longer form review of each of these movies would kind of just be beating a dead horse and repeating stuff that people have already said, and I don't want to do that. So I have 5 movies, some really good, some really bad, and I'm just going to talk about them for a little bit and tell you my thoughts on what I did like about them or what I didn't like and how I would rate them, and tell you if they're still out in theaters, then you should go see them, and if they're not, then wait till they're on DVD, or if they're bad, then don't go see them at all. So in ascending order, here's my Ketchup review for March through April. Alright, starting at the very bottom, number 5, Truth or Dare. God, this movie sucks. When I saw the trailer for this movie for the first time, I was really excited, not because I thought it was going to be good, but because I thought it would be so bad that it's good. Like, one of those really cheap, terrible PG-13 horror movies that would be so bad that I would actually find it hilarious. I mean, how could you not? That smile that they do, like how could you not laugh at that? That's hilarious. That's brilliant. But then I went into it and I was bored out of my mind. I was fighting to stay awake. It was just so bad. The characters were uninteresting and I don't remember a single thing about them. The deaths were uninteresting because, like I said, it's PG-13, so they can't do a whole big, like, graphic death for each character. The premise was, I mean, done right, the premise could be good, but this wasn't done right. It was just terrible and awful, and even the face that the demon or whatever makes, it's funny maybe once or twice, but then after a while you see it so many times it just kind of weighs on you and you don't really get any reaction out of it. And it's not scary, it's not funny, it's just a nothing movie. I expected this movie to be bad, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. Like, God, I was angry. Like, I was angry coming out of, there are very few movies, it takes a lot for a movie to make me angry, and this movie succeeded in it. So, yeah, I can already tell you for a fact this is gonna make the top 5, or the bottom 5 of 2018. This is one of the worst movies I have ever seen. Don't go see this. If you're 13 and you think, oh, this is gonna be a really fun, like, kinda scary movie, and I don't know, you might get some enjoyment out of it, but like, anyone over that age, don't go see this. Don't pay money to go see this. I mean, I'm sure, like, as a background movie, as like just something you put on at a party and you occasionally look at and be like, what the fuck is this? Who put this on? Then maybe that would be okay, but don't actually sit down and watch this, because you'll just be bored out of your mind and it'll just piss you off. So I'm gonna give this a 1 out of 5 because out of all the things that it gets wrong, there is some decent cinematography, and like I said, the premise, if done right, could be really good. It just wasn't executed very well. So I'm giving it a 1 out of 5. Don't see this. Moving on. Next up is Hurricane Heist. I saw this as part of a spring break triple feature that I did back in March with Wrinkle in Time, which you already know my thoughts on, and another movie that I'll get into later in this list. And I was expecting nothing out of Hurricane Heist. I was just expecting a stupid disaster heist type of movie with really cheap effects, kind of like Sharknado. And while it was bad, don't get me wrong, it is a bad movie, I actually kind of enjoyed it, and I don't really know why. I mean, like, it was stupid, but it was just the right kind of stupid. I was laughing a lot during this movie, because it's just a lot of, like, really, like, terribly done stuff, but it's so over the top that it's unintentionally hilarious. Like, I mean, on the surface, this movie isn't really much. I mean, it's just a lot of loud noises and explosions and people driving semi-trucks away from smoke clouds, and for some reason
everybody's gonna talk like this because and
it's just, it looks really bad, but actually watching it, I would kind of recommend it as like I said before, it's like a party movie where you and a bunch of your friends are like drunk off your asses and just sitting down and watching and laughing at it. Like, it's actually not that bad. The effects are better than Sharknado. There is a lot of really laughably bad dialogue. There is a whole scene where two characters stop and talk about a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for like 5 minutes. I'm not joking. But yeah, like, it's not terrible, but it's also not very good either, but I really enjoyed it, so I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I'd say rent it. This is a really good rental movie. Next up, Ready Player One. The new Steven Spielberg movie based on the book of the same name that I haven't read because I'm an illiterate asshole. I really enjoyed this movie. I was excited for this movie from the trailers, seeing all of the like different cameos and the different appearances from like Overwatch and like Batman and Back to the Future and all that stuff. The only concern that I had with the movie going into it was that I was hoping the cameos and all the like pop culture references weren't just going to be the main gimmick and then the story and characters were going to be really bad. And thankfully it wasn't. The story was actually pretty good. I mean, it's nothing too special. It's essentially boils down to like an adventure, like it's basically a classic Spielberg adventure. The characters are not that greatly written, but I've heard they're not that greatly written in the book either. They serve their purpose, they do fine for what they do, and the acting is pretty okay. The effects work for what they are. It definitely looks like a video game. My only issue with that is there's a lot of action in this movie, and the action for the most part is really good, but there's a lot of like laser fights, and it's kind of like the Lego movies action scenes where like there's so much happening on screen where it kind of hurts your eyes and you have to like look away for a few seconds because you're worried you might like pass out. But other than that, I really enjoyed this movie. I had a blast with it. Do I think it's perfect? No, but I think it's a perfectly serviceable movie. Like if you're a fan of the book, if you're a fan of Steven Spielberg, if you want to see all of these like pop culture crossovers on the big screen, I think you'll enjoy it. The story, like I said, the story is really good. The characters work fine for what they do. The effects are really cool. The action is really cool. It's heartwarming at moments, and I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. So I'm gonna give this 3.5 out of 5. Next up is Isle of Dogs. Yes, I actually got to see this movie. I know in my Sherlock Gnomes review, I was complaining about like, oh, it's not showing in my local theaters. I'm not making this up. But while I was waiting for blockers to start, I was looking for the movie times for the week after because me and my friend Abbey, who you know as the Abbey place, I was looking through the movie times to see what movie we should go see because we were planning on seeing a movie next week. And I like quickly scrolled past, and I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me, so I quickly scrolled back up, and I saw Isle of Dogs was playing at my theater, and I freaked out, and I was like, yes, we are seeing this movie. I was really excited about this movie from the trailers. I don't remember too much about Fantastic Mr. Fox. I remember I liked it as a kid, but then again, I probably didn't get most of it. I probably didn't like get most of the humor and like the messages and stuff. I just saw like,
oh, talking animals and animation, this is good for me.
So I feel like if I watched it now, then I might be able to appreciate it much more. But this one I really enjoyed. I enjoyed it for a few reasons. The first reason is because the animation is gorgeous. Like, Wes Anderson, he really stepped it up from Fantastic Mr. Fox. Like, the landscapes and the colors are just beautiful. Like, most of the time I wasn't even paying attention to the characters, I was just paying attention to all the stuff in the background because there's so much detail put into all of these sets. It's just, it amazes me what people can do with stop motion. It really does, and that's one of the reasons that I have gotten into stop motion. The second reason that I really enjoyed it is because the story was really like gripping and interesting and also really dramatic. There's some really dark shit in this movie that I was like, damn, I was not ready for that. The third reason, I respect the fact that this is not a kid's movie. Like, Fantastic Mr. Fox was like, even though like the messages and the jokes were kind of made for older audiences, you could still probably take a kid to see that and they would probably enjoy it. But with this one, yeah, there's humor and yeah, there's some like action in it, but other than that, I can't really see a kid like enjoying this. And I'm not saying that is a bad thing by any means, because like I really enjoy when animation is put out for older audiences, for like teens and adults. I really enjoy that. But I'm just saying, for any parent looking at like movie times this week and saying like, oh, well, there's this animated dog movie, my kid might like that. Maybe if they were like 10 to 13, maybe, but shut up! I don't think they'd really get too much into it. I think they'd be kind of bored. Like I said, there's some action, there's a few jokes and the animation, but I think other than that, they'd be really bored. There's a lot of like political talk in the movie, and I don't think that they'd be really into it. The last reason that I really like it, and this is also kind of a complaint, but the movie is set in Japan, and for the Japanese, there are a lot of Japanese-speaking people in the cast. The cast does a really good job. Like, the American actor is great, all the Japanese actors are great. My only issue is that whenever the Japanese actors are talking, there aren't any subtitles. Occasionally, like, an American-speaking character will be translating what's happening, but the rest of the time, they're just speaking Japanese and there aren't any subtitles. I kind of see that as a good thing and a bad thing. I see it as a bad thing because I would have really liked to know what they're saying when it's not being translated. And I mean, since this is made for older audiences and you don't have to worry about kids not needing to read a bunch of words, like, you'd think it'd be smart to have subtitles in there for people that want to know what they're saying. But at the same time, I think it also is a good thing because it means that they're not like trying to Americanize this movie. It's set in Japan, it has Japanese actors. This is a very Japanese movie, so I feel like even though subtitles might have been helpful for dumb Americans like me, I think it's also really good that they didn't add any or make the Japanese characters have like American voices or whatever. So I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's just so good. It's really good. The animation is spectacular. The cast does a really great job. It's got the same like dry, witty sense of humor that Fox did. There are a lot of dramatic scenes. There's a lot of heavy themes. It's really heartwarming and sad, and I don't know. I just can't recommend this movie enough. I'm giving this a 5 out of 5. This is a must-see. It probably won't be in theaters for much longer, so see it while you can, because it's really good. And finally, the last movie that I have to talk about is Shape of Water. During my spring break, my plan was I was going to see Wrinkle in Time by myself, but then I also was going to take Abbey to see Hurricane Heist because I felt like that would be a fun movie to watch together, like a fun, dumb action movie or whatever. But then she said she couldn't make it that day because she was not feeling too well or whatever. So I decided, you know what, I might make this a 3-movie deal similar to what I did Thanksgiving of last year. I was looking for movies to see and I was like, well, I've kind of already seen everything that's out this week and all the rest of it doesn't really interest me that much. But then I saw Shape of Water and I recognized the name. Well, I had seen the trailer and it looked kind of interesting, but nothing that I wanted to see in theaters. But I had especially recognized the name because of all the Oscar buzz that it was getting and the fact that it had won Best Picture. So, you know what, screw it. It's showing in theaters. I probably won't be here for much longer. It's kind of like I, Tonya, like, where it took a little bit to come to my city, but it's here now. What the heck? I'll go see Shape of Water. I'll go see the Best Picture winner of 2018. So this movie has been talked about to death. There's really not a whole lot I can say about it that hasn't been said already. It's a fantastic movie. It's wonderful. I think Guillermo del Toro did a really good job with this one. All the acting is great, especially from Sally Hawkins, who it takes a lot to act while not saying anything. That's really tricky to do. And she did a really good job. All the side characters did a really good job. Shit, who's the Zod from Man of Steel? Hold on one second. Michael Shannon. Okay, there we go. Michael Shannon did a really good job as like the stuffy like government agent guy. He did a really good job. Octavia Spencer as the best friend, she did really good. The effects on the creature, the like swamp creature thing, those were really good. The story was really interesting. It was kind of long though, and I only say that because when I saw it really late at night, and like I was constantly getting messages like, when are you coming home? How late are you gonna be out? And I'm like, damn, that's a good question. How long is this movie? It was visually interesting. It definitely looks like a 60s era type of movie. It's shot really well. It's well directed. And I just can't recommend this movie enough. I think I mean, granted, I didn't see all of the movies that were nominated for Best Picture. This is the only one that I actually saw. But you know what? Even if I did see all the movies, I'd still probably say this one deserved Best Picture. Well, actually, I think this deserved Best Picture, but you know, we can't always get what we want. This is definitely a really good movie. It's really awesome. It has great message, great acting, like I said, great directing. It's just an all-around really great movie. So I would highly recommend this movie. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. I think that's well deserved. But yeah, go check it out if you haven't. And that's it. Those are all the movies that I missed doing reviews for when they were out in theaters. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you like this format for when I'm just too lazy to make a full review for a movie in the comments or by giving this video a like. Next week is Infinity War, so definitely excited about that. Really looking forward to it. But yeah, so again, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate your support. Like the video, subscribe, ring the notification bell, leave a comment, check out my animation channel because I've got some really cool stuff coming up for that. Check out my social medias, the Twitter, the Instagram, both of those are down there. And I think that's it. So thank you guys for watching. See you later.